All right, man. Best Conversations podcast. You know, I like to do up and close interviews with people I admire that I feel like is definitely making a change in the community and is definitely doing great things in the community. I got my brother Steve. I just know him from hooping ass Steve from back in the day, but now my brother is doing great things. Is mentoring, coaching. Is the new head coach at Cape Fair Christian Cape Fair Christian
Academy.
Academy. Yes, sir, man. So the first time I met you, you probably don't even remember this. We used to hoop at UNCG.
Okay.
This was like 06, 07.
Oh man.
Remember we used to hoop outside of UNCG?
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly. What was you doing at that point in your life? Like was you going to UNCG? I used to just remember you out there busting people's ass. I didn't know exactly what you had going on. Was you going to the school or not?
I think at that time I had just come back from playing. I was in school, right? And then I got an opportunity to play ball overseas. Like I had a crazy situation happen. Like I was playing D2 basketball at Wingate University in my I had a year and a half left. And so after my 1 year I was there, a year and a half I was there, a situation happened where some kids had some strippers and some stuff come in and were doing some wild stuff in the dorm room, not the dorm, but our little townhouse joints. And I wasn't involved, but I was there. And so like they put me in a situation where they were like, we know you weren't involved, but you need to tell us who was involved or you're going to be held accountable. And, I was an older college player because it took me a little longer to get where I needed to be. So I just felt bad because when they came in, we showed them kind of a similar way. We had girls and parties and stuff, and they were doing stuff they were underage for. So I took the rap, and I told them, nah, man, I can't really say nobody's name. So Buddy said, you're not going to say anybody's name, you can't play next year. Wow. So I was like, well, all right, no worries. I'm not going to do it. My dad was hot with me. So I ended up going back to UNCG. And then, so this guy found out I was available, I guess. It was like right after I left there. And I didn't hear any phone calls the whole summer. So I went back to UNCG. And then like a week into school, I get a phone call from this lady. And she's like, is your phone number 336, blah, 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 blah? It's like, yes. She said, is your name Steven and Stephen Miller? Like, yes. She said, oh my gosh, I had like 90 phone calls from coaches asking about you. But the problem was I had already enrolled at UNCG back in UNCG just to finish up school. So by going D2 back to D1, I had already enrolled. I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't accept any of the offers. And so once that happened, like a week later, it's funny how God worked. I got a call as an opportunity to go play ball overseas. So wow. I talked to my people to see what was up. I dropped everything and I bounced. I went over there, played for about 2 months, got injured, but and it was kind of like, it was lower level. It wasn't like I was making heavy bread like that. It was one of them situations where you're trying to boost your portfolio because you came from a smaller school. So I had to make myself more viable. So how you started from the beginning, it was crazy. Like Dennis Rodman was in my league trying to get back into the NBA. Yeah, it was crazy. Slippery courts. I remember this dude hot spit on my shoulder. Like, oh man, it was a big brawl. It was, when you're trying to really, like, people don't understand. People that play overseas go through a whole bunch, man. That language barrier is so different being in another country and not, like, and it was crazy when I first got over there. I'm supposed to meet the guy and he's not there. And so all I see, and I'm in Germany, all I see is black people. And so I'm thinking, let's go to them and ask them what's up. They speak French. They speak French. So I'm looking crazy. And then they're insulted if you don't know any of their language. So they're not going to help you. Luckily, I found like an internet thing. So that's kind of how I got caught up when I went overseas and played, and I came back. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to finish school, see what's up. So I was still kind of playing ball, and staying in shape because there were some other opportunities where I was supposed to kind of do some stuff back overseas and maybe get into the NBA. But, things didn't necessarily go that direction.
Word. So, So where you originally from, bro? Because I mean, I like I said, I've known you from hooping. I've seen you just out and about. You know what I mean? We always embraced, And but I never really ever really had like a full in-depth conversation with you. I just know you're from just busting people ass on that court.
Yeah.
So where you originally from, bro?
From Fayetteville, North Carolina. I went to Morganton Road Elementary, which is was the west side. I went to Westover Junior High back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went there 7th and 8th grade. Then in 9th grade, I went to Smith. So I went to both of the tough schools.
G.E. Smith.
Yeah.
Did you run to J. Cole on the court around that time?
Nah, man. Nah, I never ran into J. Cole on the court. I mean, no disrespect to him, but, you know, he probably wouldn't have been on our court. Like, I'm lying. Later after the fact, after he became who he was and stuff, because a lot of my friends are kind of real tight with him, like Jesse and Maul. Mm-hmm. So I remember one time I did go to the gym and he played, but I was like, it was later. I might have been like, I was in my 30s at least, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't, he could dunk. He dunked like once, but I mean, he wasn't like that. He's a cool cat though. Straight up guy too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how he looks, as authentic as he is online, he's exactly that authentic in person.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that, like, easily.
But he's an average ball player at best.
Word. So you say you went to Wingate, Wingate, right?
Yeah.
So that's where LeVar Harrington went to?
Not LeVar, but
Junior
Lorenzo Harrington.
Lorenzo Harrington. He's from
How you know June? That's my guy.
I'm from We from both from
Wagram. Oh,
Wagram.
you from Wagram?
I'm from Wagram.
No, you ain't from the country. I ain't know that. So you know,
yes.
So you close to Laurinburg and all that.
Yes, that's right there.
You know, LB, what's LB's name? He went to Wingate with me. He's from y'all area.
Oh, you're talking about Lamar Brown.
Lamar Brown, he raps.
Yeah, he raps. Brizzo the Beast. Brizzo the Beast, yes.
Small world.
Yeah,
he went to Wingate with me.
Yeah, a word. Yeah, I was there at Wingate together. Yeah. So yeah, from being from Wagram and seeing Junior, because his dad coach Little League, so it was like that was like our first superhero from the hood. You know what I mean?
Well, we grew up together, play AAU together. The reason I went to Wingate was because he went to the NBA from there. I had a lot of other offers to go other places, but I felt like that was going to be the fastest track considering he just left there and they were in Charlotte. Keenan Dunn's father worked with the Denver Nuggets, so it was really a great opportunity to get yourself in a situation where maybe, you know, people look at you like a pro. But I mean, he was a different type of animal. He's a full balanced breakfast. This boy is like super amazing athlete. You know, you ain't gonna really see an athlete like him. Even now, you know, he almost 40. He might be 40. Mm-hmm. He can still probably windmill and all that. Like, it's not real at all. Like, he's not fair.
Word. So take me through your high school career, bro. Like, did you feel like you accomplished everything you wanted to do and on the high school level?
No, absolutely not. This didn't go like I was not storybook for me. You know, I have more street credibility as far as my game rather than really like on the actual, if we go check stats and go check this. Now, I always won. I played for teams that won, and I had an intricate part in that. But I was never – I got better later, if that makes sense. Like, you got to recognize, like, my father, you know, he was a late bloomer. You know, he didn't touch a basketball till he was in the 12th grade. And it's because he was picked at. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you know, Coach Walker – Walker Sr., I think he's not alive anymore, rest in peace. You know, Ike Walker Jr. is the coach at Jack Britt. You know, he's the one that put the ball in his hand, threw the ball at him. You know, like, don't be no one. You got to do something with that height. So, you know, he got a crazy opportunity. So when it came to me, I was kind of different. You know what I mean? Like, I actually got into basketball because I was a follower when I was younger. And, like, these kids, like, my parents were trying to, like, you know, raise me different. So they had me, like, a middle-class neighborhood where, you know, a lot of the kids were doing things they weren't necessarily very mischievous, you know, stealing stuff, going in, you know, putting, oh, man, so much crazy stuff we don't even want to go into. But all that to say.
In the Ville, in the Ville was crazy, man.
Yeah, so I got bopped in that. So my dad was like, when I got some real trouble for, like, shooting some kid with, like, a pellet rifle or something, you know what I'm saying, playing around, and he put the ball in my hand. You know, he was really good friends with George and Austin Lehman. And back then, nobody really knew how to teach a kid how to play basketball. You know, but my dad had put me around the game for so long. I had such a love for it you know, when he started teaching me, he just, you know, he started out with just 2 basketballs, and then it went from there. And, you know, a lot of stuff I did was things I saw on TV, so I had good and bad habits. So, like, going into high school, you know, I was really, like, highly touted, but not highly touted like you would say like it is now. Like, when you're highly touted now, it's because some writers spoke about you, and there's a lot of colleges that are interested in you. No, I'm talking about streetwise. Like, yo, everybody like, yo, Lil Mims is going over to Smith. We got to go watch. We got to go support. Yo, you know, you got that yo, whatever.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? And then back then, the things that I did on the court that I thought were stuff, you know, I was really good at showmanship. So people didn't understand, like, a lot of times when people make it to the next level, it isn't always because of just regular skill set. They're also fun to watch. Some kids don't know how to play basketball, but they're really fun to watch. Right. So I was one of those kids. I never really got taught the basic fundamentals, other than my dad just taught me how to dribble 2 basketballs, go through my legs behind my back, and then from then on, anything else I learned on my own from watching or playing pickup ball or doing whatever. So I had a lot of good and bad habits. So going into E. Smith, it was kind of a conflict because, you know, Coach McNeil and my dad both went to Smith, you know what I'm saying? And both of them were Hall of Famers. Might have been a rift between that or something, but, you know, he didn't want to feel like he had to give me something I didn't deserve. And back then I didn't understand that. And so, you know, people would come, and when I first got there, he tried to put me on varsity in 9th grade. I wasn't strong enough, you know what I mean? But I could really play.
I don't be understanding that. Like, man, I remember to be in the 9th grade, like how the hell, like, you had to be super nice to play.
Well, like my team was crazy. We had 4 different McDonald's All-Americans, wow, like nominees. Like Garvin Davis was 6'10", he was the McDonald's nominee. Terrell Robinson, who's now the coach at A&T, who was going to be a Hall of Famer from A&T. He actually was on the Wheaties box with his team. Jerry Smith, he went to the Navy. He was a McDonald's All-American. And then we had Ronald McKnight, who went to East Tennessee and played overseas and was a flat-out legend. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm walking in, then Jadrian Gamble was like Dennis Rodman back then. He didn't even really know it. He just jumped out the gym and defended and blocked everything. And then, Lord Jesus, on the bench, every top football player, Joey Evans went to Carolina. You had, oh my gosh, Bread Truck. You know, there was some goons on the team, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, it was just really physically back then. You know, if the rules were like now, they'd have been in trouble because you couldn't put your hands on people. But back then, if you try to turn the corner, you're definitely going right out of bounds, you know. And on the side of town, go ahead.
Did you run into Eric Maynor?
Oh, yeah, I raised him. Raised Eric. Yeah, Eric done got skipped up quite a bit. Now, I will tell you, I might always – I was older than him, though. You know what I'm saying? But when he got older, I remember one time he really – I knew he was going to be what it is. We were playing at Pope Air Force Base. Sean Griffin, which is Newt's dad, was there. All of them was on the team. He had – what's the boy used to come with him with? The kid from Smith that went to Westover initially. I can't remember his name, but he was a killer. All of them was together. They always come to the gym, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, his dad would always say, yo, George Maynor on him, like, yo, kill him, yo, like, raise him, like, destroy him, Steve. Like, he got to get better. He think he like that. So I would always just destroy him. And then just one day we was playing, and I'm really just not taking him serious. Like, I'm taking the ball, 3 dribbles, just fading out of bounds, hitting jumpers. Then he come down, and he was hitting this floater, my G. And he gave me like 9 with the flow. Now I had like 11, but we're going to 12. But literally 9 floaters. Like I was like, and you know, I was like, good God. And my homeboy Robbie, you know, he played overseas. He's like, yo, why you don't lock that up? Because I ain't really never had nobody, you know, cook me. You know, people don't really speak on what I did defensively, but I never really got cooked like that. But I'll never forget that. And I was like, oh yeah. And I followed him from then on. His dad and my dad always played together, you know, when they worked at correctional facilities and stuff like that. People don't know his pops could shoot from half court. The Chicago Bulls had like 2 tryouts for him. He just didn't show up. He went to one and didn't go to the other. You know what I mean? And then his brother, I played with his brother, Tony Crawford, at Hope County. And he probably averaged about 25 a game. Like, he was a killer. Like, we had the boxing one, deny him the ball. I had to guard him. You know, I probably hold him like 15, but he shot every shot he wanted. He shot it from half court. Like, he shot when he went left-handed. So, like, you know, Eric and them, much respect for how they held it down in Rayford. And how entertaining. He like right now, Eric is like a legend. People don't understand. He probably scored like 2,700 points
Super legend.
at VCU.
Super
You know
legend.
what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Legend for what he did in the NCAA tournament. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And then if
you
you're
said a dude come, you almost. Oh my gosh. Just a flat out pro, man. Just went to the league and got in a situation where he just defensively was more so his issue. Had nothing to do with offense. He just couldn't keep up with the athletes. He didn't have the type of team that would hide that. Like Jameer Nelson played with Dwight Howard, so we never knew how awful of a defender he was. And not to say that Eric is an awful defender, but to guard J.J. Barrera, Ty Lawson, those guys, what you gonna do with all that space?
And he behind Westbrook. I mean, and he was behind Westbrook too. So.
Come on now, hold up. Was behind Westbrook. Learned from Deron Williams because initially he was in Utah. I forgot where else he was at. He learned. I think he went to the Wizards, so he was behind John Wall. So he played behind 3 show enough point guards.
Yeah, big boy point guards, man. So.
Oh, you were asking about high school. My bad. I got derailed. High school, 9th grade year, played JV. We didn't lose, but maybe 1 game. If we didn't lose 1, 10th grade year, maybe lost 2 games. Going into my junior year, I was expected to do some really big things. We had a really good team.
Who was the big dog back then? 71st?
Huh?
Was 71st the big dog back then?
Well, what do you mean by big dog? I mean, yeah, they was a killer. I mean, they were the team to beat. They were our rivalry.
I went to Scotland, so the high school team that I would always hear the most hoopla about from Fayetteville would always be 71st. So
y'all played them, and they beat y'all every year. Y'all ain't hope.
Yeah. Scotland, we did have some good hoopers, but we're most known for football than basketball.
Oh, nobody wants no parts of y'all in football. We don't have any disrespect that direction. We don't want no problems. We are here to stay.
Yeah, but
Douglas Byrd was tough back then, though. I'm lying. With the parolees back then, Douglas Byrd was serious. Mm-hmm. And depending on what area you talking about, it was some killers too around the way. So, but when we was coming up, 71st was that heat. Pine Forest was that heat. We were that heat. Westover was really fun to watch. They had a lot of good guards and stuff. So, my junior year, we did really well. Went to the regionals and lost to Michael Jordan's team, Delaney. They had like 3 Dickerson brothers. Then like my senior year, we may have lost 3 games. And we lost to Anthony Jefferson from Leesville. And it was 2 minutes left, 2 seconds left, like 5 seconds left in the game. They had the ball on the other end of the court, and my man who had probably the best game of his life, Brian Tillman, we don't even get that close to that game if he don't have the game he had. But he had a brain fart. He goes to the other end of the court and fouls the kid for no reason. No time on the court. He gets 2 free throws and the game is over. Our whole season's done. You ever heard of Kenny Haywood?
Kenny Haywood, not familiar. Who?
Oh man, you don't want to. He's a Hall of Famer. He went to Fayetteville State. He played with me, so he's somebody you to know.
Word. See, when I think about Fayetteville State, I think way back when what was the point guard that went to Fayetteville State way back in the day? Played in the
Which
Atlantic
one? They had quite a few. You talking about the one from Yahweh? What's the boy's name? He was a killer. Oh, what they call him?
NBA player went to Fayetteville State. I think it was.
Well, you talking about Blue? Blue was from Scotland County, won't he?
Yeah.
But it's somebody else too. Y'all had. It was another guard, I think, from Yahweh. Little country strong guard. It was no joke.
Jeremy Bostic was good. You remember Jeremy Bostic?
Could shoot the lights out. That's my man. People. I thought he was from like Pinehurst area, Southern Pines.
Yeah. He played ball. He played ball at community college there. Yeah, could shoot the lights out. Yeah. That was that.
Played some summer league with him, and he could shoot the ribbons off of it.
Word. So let's talk about your basketball journey. Like so playing, like you said, you was playing ball overseas. How did you make the transition into coaching?
Oh man, everything happens crazy, when I got back from playing, see, I realized like high school, achieved, college, just bad decisions, partying. I went from like 5'11" to like 6'5" in the summer,
And you were strong. You were strong too, G. Like you were strong. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like you know how you be playing pickup and then you be like, yo, bro's like too good to be out here with us. Like what is he doing? Like I used to have the moments with you at UNCG, like why are you out here with us?
Well, man, you know, I played it. Even when I went to UNCG before I had ever really played any collegiate basketball, I went wherever the smoke was. You know, we from Fayetteville, man. You know, you want wherever the best bump is, and you want to solidify who your name is. So if they was playing, I should have probably been studying or being in class. But, you know, I was out there chasing, playing ball.
Some shit, dog. You used to want all the smoke. You used to talk so much shit.
Oh, man. Yo, as I've gotten older, man, I do recognize this. I had a lot of angels around me because it could have been a lot of situations that could have went the left, you know what I mean, by me being so competitive. But it just how we won. What I noticed when I was younger, but that people can't talk trash and play. You know, they never can, or they can't have a discussion. They have to only do one thing at a time. So if I'm able to talk to you and you talk back, or you don't understand, you know what I'm saying, or you're frustrated, it really, you know, it is an advantage for me. And sometimes people will be like, yo, he's a jerk or he's that, but some of the greatest basketball players you've ever watched are the worst. People don't really want to be. If you watch that Last Dance with Mike, you know, it's a prime example of a leader, you know, just being, you know, it's hard when you're the best, or you're one of the best, or wherever you're at, you're one of the top people. To get there, you had to be a certain type of person. You know what I'm saying? You had to have a certain type of mindset psychologically. So when you're competing against people, a lot of times, man, even now, I beat you before I touch the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know, you know, you already angry about something you don't need to be angry about. You know what I mean? You already think about stuff you ain't got to be thinking about. Just a lot of times, can you be mentally strong? So going into once I played ball overseas and came back and things weren't rolling like they needed to, I was just going to go back to school. And my mom hit me and was like, yo, I'm about to lose these group homes. I need you to go ahead and come up here and help me out. She had like 4 or 5 of them in Wilmington. So I'm in the middle of, you know, finishing up school my last semester. I drop all my classes because, you know, it's family first. It's my mom. So I bounce, I move, I leave an apartment in Wilmington, in Greensboro, fully housed, and I go all the way there, and I start working in group homes with my mom with level 3 at-risk kids. Me and my cousin from Philly and my cousin that I grew up with. So, you know, so that was like 4 or 5 years I stayed there working with at-risk kids and grinded. At that point, I wasn't really playing ball. I had gained weight, had dreads, you know what I'm saying? I tried out for a little team out there, but I wasn't really in shape, you know what I mean? And I did some basketball camps, and I just decided, you know, while I was there, I kind of started my training business, which was in LA. It started out just like, you know, if you look at my initial videos, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just putting moves out there that I stole from Tim Hardaway or whoever else, and I was just doing like instructionals. And I got a whole bunch of views off of it. People was telling me thank you and stuff. And then, you know, once I did stop doing group homes, well, while I was doing group homes, what I did notice is that when I would use basketball as an incentive, like I would teach them the game from them doing what they're supposed to do, you know, it would motivate them. So like, did you do your homework? Did you clean up? Okay, I'll work on your jump shot tonight. You know what I'm saying? And these are kids that didn't really, you know, they've been raped, they've been left, abandoned, they've been beaten and abused, and they just needed some dopamine. They just needed something to have some confidence with. So what was the one thing, and people don't understand, they think that basketball is about basketball. It's not. Basketball teaches life. You know, basketball is a situation where it's something where you can actually not lose anything, but learn about everything. Adversity, hard situations, communication, being injured, you know, you gotta learn. That's all kind of stuff that basketball can teach you, leadership, etc. So it was something that as a tool that was able to help me with those kids, because they didn't really have a lot, you know what I'm saying, going for them on their side. You know, they've been in the system forever. So when I finally got out of it, my mom and dad was like, and that was when I got the opportunity where this guy was like, look, I know about you. I know what's going on. It's like an angel or something. He was like, I want you to play for the Utah Jazz because of your game. I just think that you'd be up, but I don't think you're ready yet. He said, so I want to send you overseas for like 2 years. I said, cool. So while I'm thinking about doing this and I'm working out, trying to get in shape, it doesn't work out. I'm like, you know, I'm trying to lift and trying to do whatever, and it just hurts. It's not fun. And so I had to be true to the game. Be like, man, this is I'm already too old to start doing the stuff that I didn't get to do when I was younger. You know, I mean, I have to rebuild my whole body and be completely different. And I got a kid. I got all kind of stuff I got to worry about. So I don't know if I had time to keep tracing this dream. Then I get caught up in a situation, not a bad situation, where I got to go on tour with this new artist going out, my homeboy, Nate Walker. He had a Grammy, his first ever song he ever wrote, and it was to Blame It on the Alcohol joint. So he was touring on his own. He had backing by his uncle and his aunt, you know, which he was a football player for the 49ers. So believe it or not, like, my life was crazy. So I went from playing ball, playing ball, working with group homes. Then I go on tour, right, with music, and I don't have any musical ability, but Buddy was around me, and he just loved my vibe, my energy. He's like, yo, this be my hype man. I just want you with me when I go out. You know, he just liked how I was just with people. So, like, bro, I went on like a 4-month everywhere. And I'm talking about places you would have never gone, like Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Seattle, Philly. We was everywhere. And and man, being on tour, man, that is so crazy. So much fun, man. I can see why, like, musicians and stuff be caught up in so much, because it's just so much available, and it's so many different people. And you may have a good night one night, you think every night's gonna be that way. You know what I'm saying? So you get caught in situations like that. So, but it was just an amazing opportunity. But then after that, when I got back, you know what I'm saying, I got back home. Only reason why I got out of group homes because they stopped the funding. You feel what I'm saying? So my mom was like, we're about to close them down. We're about to be done with this. I had worked so many hours over, you know, what do you call it? Overtime. Mm-hmm. I had done so many overtime hours that, and I was doing it. It wasn't illegal, but I wasn't making my mom pay me. But when it closed, they was like, you do got to pay them back. So it ended up being a situation where my mom, and it was like, what do you want to do? We're gonna support it. And that's when I was training, trying to work out for basketball, staying home, and it just wasn't what I wanted to do. And so they still had to pay me during that time, and I was getting unemployment. Mm-hmm. So it was like for a whole year and a half, I had done that much overtime where I didn't have to really work.
Wow.
The money was just stacked, you know what I mean? They would just throw me a check every week. So, and I was just training and grinding, and then it just didn't go like I thought it was gonna go, you know what I'm saying? And then I got home and I started, like, what it was like, that's when I met, when my nephew was in like 7th grade, and he was in a private school. He was playing AAU with Dennis Smith Jr., Quay Parker, Mark Gilbert, all of these guys, right? Mm-hmm. Young, nobody knows them. So they're like, you know, and I'm around it a little bit, and they're like, hey man, you want to work them out and do some things with them, you know, since you play college ball? Cool. So I started, you know, working with them and adding and showing them stuff. And they got older, you know, and then I started doing my training business. Stuff was booming. I was doing it on Fort Bragg and making a killing. And then the lady that worked there was like, yo, she was so cool. Like, and mind you, during this time, I was keeping my daughter, because I had a really crazy heartbreak with the girl I was with. So I was stuck, you know what I mean? And then I ended up, my baby mother allowed me to get my daughter full time. She was at that age, she was 3. And it just changed my life completely. Like my consistency, you know, me doing things the right way, you have to. And my daughter was like, would not leave me. She wouldn't let nobody keep her. She wasn't like, it was none of that. It was like, no, I'ma cry. You leave me, I'm gonna flip the whole time. Like, I'm not playing with you. And see, she was with her mother, so she had some issues where, like, communication-wise, she was more like her mom. She wasn't outspoken, and she was all shy. When she's around me, you know, we was able to change that, get her school stuff going, everything. Got her in more for all that. And so then at that point, I had started, you know, I was grinding on base. I got kicked off base because I was making too much money. It was too many people. They said, you can't make money on federal property, which I never got paid on federal property, but people was just going at me so much. It was such a buzz. Right there at Coscom, he kicked me out. So I was like, I know what I'm gonna do. So at that point, I was staying with me and my best friend, we staying together in Harris Place. So I met Dennis Smith Jr.'s dad. He was like, look, I got Seabrook. Yeah, you can use it to train, but I got it for 3 hours. Just work my boys out. It's nothing. It's easy money. So that's when I, you know, Coach Les, Coach Cliff, all those guys over there, and I went to Smith. We was just family. Roger Brown was over there, all of us. So I would train. And so, like, when I go over there, it's the hardest part of the city. So I lost really all my clients. We only had one client, but I never stopped training. So I would go up there, and sometimes it'd be 40, 50 kids in there with no money, nothing to do, and I was still training. And we would start out 6 o'clock. We'd go over to Fayetteville State. We'd run the bleachers, run miles, work on their hops, and get back over there and do drills for an hour. Then I would invite every person from the city that was an older head and let them smash their head for a whole hour. And we did that for like a summer and a half at least. And, even though I wasn't getting paid, God blessed me on the back end, because every kid that came out of there was pretty much a college prospect. It was a top-notch guy. Absolutely. And then I was doing more. I was videoing them. I was going to all their games. I was just so supportive, and I was just trying to get them exposure, because I was like, yo, this can't be normal. This kid's dunking in 8th grade. This kid is doing this. And I was like, this is nuts. You know what I mean? I was like, and JJ came along and all these other ones. Like, it was just so many killers. It's Malik and Telly. So I was just, I was grinding. And as that happened, I got more opportunities to train other places. And I was doing Seabrook for a very long time. And then Coach Les he stepped down. And I didn't feel comfortable with the people that was there. So I started paying for my own spot. I was at Trinity. I used to train at joint off of Morganton Road, the church over there. I can't think of the name of it. But you just name every place here I pretty much trained at. And then, so I got a real great rapport with players. I had Josh Nickelberry since he was like 7, 8 years old. Like, I had all these kids early or I had them later. And so then it just opened up a door where Coach Hurd, Brian Hurd, is the head coach right now at Fayetteville Tech. He got the job, and he called me off a referral and was like, yo, would you coach with me? I heard you got all the players on Smash. I know you know what you're doing. I want to give you an opportunity. No degree now, because I went and played ball overseas and didn't come back. And then I worked. So I was like, word? To have an opportunity to coach college ball with no degree, no real experience, you go right into JUCO.
Is that possible? Like, is that?
Well, it was JUCO. So it was like, and you'll be surprised. He's the head coach there. I don't know how many, you don't have no degree. Like, they don't have to have that to have it if they want to. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But to coach like Division II, Division III, all that stuff, you gotta have one. But probably a master's too, in some cases. So I got the opportunity, started coaching there. The first year we didn't get to recruit really. We had to bring movers around, so we may have won like 5 games. So the next year we did get to recruit, and we won like 23 games.
Word.
Right. Can you see me? My joint just kind of blinked. Okay, yeah.
Okay, you good.
And then after we did that, you know what I'm saying? The very next year, now mind you, the whole time I was there, they never paid me. Mm-hmm. I'm doing all this recruitment. I'm doing all this training. Now they also let me use their gym, but that wasn't supposed to be the barter. What the barter was, they let me use the gym and they would pay me. They didn't pay me, but they let me use the gym, so I didn't bug out. I had a gym whenever I wanted. Then they stopped letting me use the gym. So now I'm bringing new players. I'm training your kids. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm coaching. I'm helping kids with their grades. I'm housing them. I had like a whole house with 4 of them in there. One of our houses, I let them stay in, and they paid rent, but they tore it up. You know what I'm saying? And it just wasn't reciprocated. So then and then a situation happened with a player. So I just kind of like, it got too personal. What I learned when I was a trainer, your relationship is real close with the kids. Y'all are like brothers. Mm-hmm. When you're a coach, it can't be that, because they misinterpret it when it's time for you to lay the law down.
Absolutely.
And then you're dealing with JUCO kids. So a kid that had nothing was there. We had like a little flare up, try to shine on me online. So he was on the bus and was clowning. And immaturely, I responded back, clowning back at him, and he got sensitive. Mm-hmm. So it's a situation where it could have been straight, but I was like, you know what? This is probably not the level I need to be at right now. You know what I'm saying? Because this age group, that's going to take me a little bit more patience. You know what I mean? And it took a lot out of me with other situations where I had put a lot into some kids, and they kind of went their way. You know what I'm saying? It was never really like a thank you or whatever else. So that had just consistently always was happening. So I just wanted to go somewhere that was smart. I was like, I got to make a bigger move. So I ran some basketball camps. I ended up running a basketball camp at Fayetteville Academy, and I heard that Coach Boyette was going to probably get the job. So when I saw that, I was like, he got both of them twins, Emmanuel and Will. Shoot, got Will, got Walter. Okay, if we can get John Michael over there, boom, So I just hollered at him. I was like, look, man, I want to learn from you. I've only played for Black coaches. I want to understand structure. I want to learn. I want to do whatever. I'm going to help you build your program, and I'm going to train your guys. Really, all I would like in return is for you to allow me to use the gym and to coach with you. Just let me learn whatever. He was like, all right, let me holler at my man. And they let me in. And so my first year ever coaching high school basketball as an assistant, we won the state championship. And then I also coached the middle school team full of, and we won the whole thing too. So I won 2 chips that first year. Then the next year we lost every single player, right? So I had to bring in, and mind you now, it cost $17,000 to go to school here. You understand that? In a city we're calling Fayetteville. And I was able to bring in 6 more players. But we were all babies, so they were young. So this past year go ahead.
How do these kids pay their tuition, like when they go to these?
Well, they have now. Okay, so this situation depends on your background. Like if you are in a situation where what they do is they have this opportunity scholarship. They gauge how much money you make, your income, how much all this is going towards, whatever. And if you qualify, you can qualify up to $4,200 to get it to any school you want to. And then, like for example, at Fayetteville Academy, if you're playing a sport, they got a scholarship where they can cut it in half. So they'll go from 17 to 8 or something like that. You would apply $4,200 to it. Now this is something workable. You see what I'm saying? If you go somewhere like Trinity, you got $4,200 towards it. You probably don't have to pay anything. You go to Village, you might pay $200-$300 a month. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of how kids get an opportunity to play private school ball. And the reason a lot of times kids go to private school is to reclass. So that's to give you an opportunity if you aren't necessarily getting the looks you want, or you're not in a position to be looked at. You know what I mean? Or you're not progressing, you might be behind. And the great thing about reclassing is if I reclass in the 9th grade and I get to my junior year and I want to reclass back up to my senior year because I have everything I can and I can leave or I can stay. So it gives you multiple opportunities and a chance, to get where you want to be.
Do you think in this day and age, just playing like a kid just strictly playing high school basketball, doesn't play AAU or anything like that, can still get a look and don't have to go to like private school? Is that those things to happen? Because all I see nowadays is kids running this AAU circle, then they go to private school, then they get ranked, and all the stuff like that.
Is he 7 foot?
Nah,
but okay, so it can be done, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But it's just very rare that you find a kid that's really talented like that, that nobody didn't see. Right. It's crazy now because it's nothing you can watch without it being. Everything's online, everything's visible. Everybody plays. Everybody talks about it. It's very rare for you to get around here and us not know who can go. You know what I'm saying? So someone's gonna pick you up. Now, if you choose not to, and you're an absolute stud, you would have to kill whatever you're doing. So if you're playing public school, so people you can't use the example. You can't use the example of DeMarco Dunn because he played on the circuit. So when he came over here, he already had offers. You see what I'm saying? But to play in Fayetteville, let's say if we took a kid from Nebraska, if he was a killer, and bring him to Fayetteville, he'll get every offer there is because it's hot here. Every year it's high Division I guys getting up out of here, and they're playing in the ACC, the Big Ten, you name it. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting heavy minutes, and they're actually pros and everything else. So people are on notice about this area. And I ain't gonna say that I started it or I did it by myself or anything else but I have my hand in it, and I'm just excited that we can have our kids have more opportunities to be seen in our hometown. Like when my kids get old enough, my young ones, I know that this is going to be a good place. Absolutely. If they were to play. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get noticed. If you don't understand, North Carolina has the most colleges per capita other than California. If you can't get recruited here, you're not going to get recruited. Look at Fayetteville. You know what I'm saying? You talking about it's a cop. Wow, my bad. So it's Fayetteville. So when you're, what was I saying? I got that quick. What was that?
What's up?
I said, what was I saying? I forgot because they ain't gonna cop for me, y'all.
No, just talking about the talent and Fayetteville.
Yeah. If you're in Fayetteville, man, you're gonna get seen because you gotta look at it. Fayetteville State's right here. That's Division II. Campbell, 35 minutes away. St. Andrews, 35 minutes away. Fayetteville Tech, right here. Methodist, Division III, right here. You know, and then we go an hour or 45 minutes. You go Chapel Hill, you go Duke, you go NC State, you go Wake Forest. If you're good enough, they will find you.
They will get a look.
Ain't no excuses no more. And then you're in a day and age where there's footage.
Yeah.
So you can't lie.
Right.
Footage can lie, but you know, if you know what you're looking at, it can't lie.
Exactly. Hey, let's talk about one of the kids that you train, man. The young brother Dennis Smith Jr. You know what I mean, very high recruited. Like when he was at NC State, like, you know what I mean, at one time it was looking like he was gonna be the number 1 pick, but ended up slipping a little bit, ended up going to Dallas. I right now feel like his career is in a little bit of limbo in New York. A bunch of point guards. The Knicks ain't really, I don't know what they got going on. Like, where do you see Dennis Smith Jr.'s career, like, right now?
He's got some things he's got to work on. Right now we're not like at a place where I could necessarily tell him, but I wish I could. But from what I see from from having my hands on him for quite a bit of time, and to watch him now as an adult, I'm so proud of him, first off, man. And I'm glad to see one of a kid. Because for me, people like, oh, my God, whatever they want to say. And I'm like, there's stuff that I show him that I get to watch at that level that works. That lets me know that whatever I'm teaching is good. You see what I'm saying? And then as far as him, you know, he did have an injury. So he plays the hardest position in the league. And one of his issues is moving laterally, right? And so he doesn't necessarily defend as well at this level yet. So there's some, I don't know if because he's not been healthy. So I don't necessarily know what's wrong physically with him, but I know he's capable of running a team and being amazing. I just think his mindset was to score too much early. And I think that he's an amazing distributor. And I think we're missing out on how gifted he is. But I think that I don't know who's in his ear and telling him what he needs to do to get his next contract. They may be telling him that he needs to be trying to show that he can shoot or do this or score more or whatever else. But I'm letting you know he's a complete player. He's an amazing kid. He's got to get in a good spot. New York's not going to be good. The way things went,
he can get lost there. Like, he can really get
and
lost.
And when he went to Dallas, I think, you know, it was just a maturity issue. You know, you knew Luka Doncic was coming in. You embrace him, right? And you just make him look good. You stay, you get to get a long contract, and you're fine. You fight it. You think you're better. You say you're better. You know what I'm saying? And so there's times when he has to shoot the game-winning shot and all kind of stuff because he's a killer. You know, he doesn't know how to be second. He's never had to be. So it was just kind of rough with the politics with him in Dallas. So, you know, he had to get out. You know, he had rubbed some people the wrong way, you know, so he ended up having to go to New York, which is just got caught in there because he was going to get out of there sooner, but, you know, it just was a trash bin. So I think, you know, with this being a contract year and everything else, I know he's focused. I know he's grinding. I just wish I could watch him, you know, just he has to work on his he has to study more, you know, because, you know, I don't even know how to tell you how you would guard these type of guys, but you have to have a motor for it. So you got to get in amazing shape. You got to change your mentality, you know, because it's hard to stay in the league a long time. It's cool to make it, but can you maintain yourself in there? Can you be an asset? And I just want him to rely less on his athleticism and to show everybody else that he's a genius IQ player. He can pick stuff apart like Eric Maynor could, and he can finish above the rim like anyone else we've ever seen. He just has to understand and get his balance. But he has to get in a situation where maybe it's a veteran coach, you know, that is going to put him under his wing and explain to him what we need from you and put it in within his and understand his limitations and work the thing around that to fix it. So I think he can really, really good. He's a top level point guard. But I mean, you know, to be objectional, you know, there are some things, you know, he has to be more consistent perimeter wise as far as shooting, and he has to defend better. And then he has to be, you know, he has to have magnetism. He needs to be a kid that people want to play around. He needs to make people better. You know, he should have went to New York with the mindset, all right, whatever, I'm going to make Marcus Morris and all these guys And he had spurts of it, you know, when the coach is putting you in and out the game and all that. But, you know, I don't like to make excuses because I don't know. I don't like to really comment on millionaires when I ain't no millionaire. But from my eyes, as far as basketball, you know, perimeter, defense, study, and just be a model citizen right now. And then when you get in your situation, then you can be the goon you want. I like the fact that he cut his hair because market-wise, that's important. Yeah. Super important.
Yeah, absolutely. So who's some of your favorite NBA players growing up, or your favorite teams?
Growing up, Penny Hardaway, Michael Jordan, Rod Strickland, you know, and then I watched a lot of street ballers. Like I was just, I loved handles. Like I fell in love with being able to dribble the ball, and I just loved the attention it got that other people couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So my mindset was, you know, with whoever I could study, I was gonna steal it. You know, so Kenny Anderson and all those guys, I watched everyone. I watched people locally. I'm a Duke fan. I'm a Lakers fan. Wait. What kind of fan are you so I could talk trash? Hope you're not that 14-win team.
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
definitely, baby. UNC
not the
all
NIT,
day, man.
But not the NIT. Are y'all not happy about this pandemic? Did God save y'all?
Absolutely, because there was no champion this year.
But we know who was never going to be the champion.
Hey, man, you know what I was watching? The other day?
What's that?
When y'all lost to C.J. McCollum. What was that team?
We lost to a pro.
Y'all
all-star.
But that was a 16 seed, though. Lehigh.
You know who was guarding him that game?
Come on. No, man. Y'all had Austin.
But people always talk trash, but we didn't lose to scrubs. We lose to people that have top-level pros. Lost to Jason Kidd early. You see what I'm saying? We don't lose to bum teams. And you got to realize that Coach K back then was picking players that would stay 4 years, not one-and-done guys. So defensively at the point guard position, we struggled. And then we didn't have great bigs. Until later when he started taking one-and-dones, then it was even field.
Plumlee was a monster, though.
What do you mean? He didn't block shots. He was athletic. He was cool. Mm-hmm. He averaged double-double. You know, he was solid.
Probably double-double.
He's solid. You know, he's not like a pro. I mean, he's a pro, but he's not like win the championship piece. You need some more. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we don't want to discuss players now, do we? And how your guys don't get any better.
Yeah, dog, we were just talking about the GOAT. MJ.
Okay, yeah, you got MJ. That's all you got. I mean, you got a couple more, but I'm talking about recently. When's the last time y'all made somebody get better? Who comes to Carolina to get better? Certainly what my man Brandon did. The shot that, what's my man? None of your Seventh Woods. No one goes to Carolina and gets better. It's bad. Maybe Bryce Johnson got better a little bit, you know.
He did. I
Thank God for Cam Johnson the year before that, because if y'all didn't get him, y'all would have been in trouble.
Right.
Transfer. Give me somebody who's getting better at Carolina. I need to know these things.
You might have got me. You might have got me. Damn.
Yeah, man. Went down. No Dean, man. It's tough.
Our pros ain't looking real nice right now.
No, and I was hoping you didn't try to point someone out. I was on your head.
Our pros is not looking really nice right now at all. Like I don't know what's happening from. I don't know.
Which y'all Dean Roy Williams is your guy, and he's slowly but surely. And then your assistants are old, like Hubert Davis and all them. You need to get some youth. You need to bring in Rasheed Wallace or somebody in there so you can have some type of notoriety to bring them kids in. See, we had Jeff Capel. Yeah. He was bringing in all of them. Yeah. You know, all his ex-players that can go, they're all the recruits. Yeah. Carolina doesn't have, I guess we got Sean May. Who cares if he recruits me? Not me. Not me. I'm trying to figure out a Carolina plan. You should have brought back Rashad McKee.
Hey, man. Hey, one day I was randomly in Fitness Connection hooping, just some after work playing some pickup, and I said, yo, that's Rashad McCants. I couldn't. I was like, why this Negro? And
he was so good.
He was good, and he was busting ass at Fitness Connection that day. Like this was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, damn, this. that nigga was looking at me like, nigga, do not ask for a picture. You know, please don't. That nigga was.
I'd have been like, how dare you?
Niggas from UNC hate his ass because they feel like he snitched.
Oh, he did snitch. It is crazy because his sister went to school there, so she can't even show up because of him.
Yeah, she hoops. Yeah, she.
Y'all stay having issues with people talking about Ty Lawson talking about how Roy tried to jerk him. You didn't see that?
Yeah, I don't know Ty Lawson, man. He a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Well, Ty Lawson said that everybody, like every coach in the NBA, said that Roy Williams gave a bad report about him when they were trying to look to see to bring him back in. Said he was an alcoholic and all this other stuff.
He did get DUI.
Who didn't?
Right. I mean, JJ got a DUI too.
Here we go.
When he first came in the NBA too, bro. Changing gears real quick. Man, I remember boy used to definitely be a hothead and be wild. But one of the beautiful things I've seen, man, you found your queen, man, and you got married, and I've seen the pictures on Facebook in the video. Beautiful wedding, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Talk about maturing and finding your queen, bro.
Well, it's work. I tell you that, and especially a person like I was. You know what I'm saying? Where I just didn't ever see myself getting married. I didn't see myself, being able to commit and submit to another person. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just so much pride swallowing. And you gotta you always gotta work. You can't be in other people's business. You can't be watching other people and thinking y'all should be where they're at. You just can focus on your own. But it helps slow me down. It helps. Also, it legitimizes you. You know what I'm saying? People will just see you as a person that's all out in the streets and doing other stuff. You get married, you have kids. Oh, now I feel comfortable around him. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, Steve grew up. He slowed down. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Now I could have been doing what I was supposed to do. But it's the view, and I had to learn the game, cut your locks. My wife played ball at Wake Forest, you know what I'm saying? It's all in our family, you know what I'm saying? Her dad was a Hall of Famer and my dad's a Hall of Famer.
Wow. How far do y'all go back? How'd y'all meet?
I used to train her sister. I never actually saw her play. She's from Terry Sanford. She ended up playing at Wake Forest. She was a standout, really good. And this is about the time I was coming back. Chris Wilson was around here. And then it was like her sister was playing about that next year. I got her, year and a half. And I just started training her. And when I was training her, we met, we talked, we laughed, we joked. And we really hung out for maybe an entire year of just being friends. And we played spades probably like 200 times and we never lost together. It was crazy. Like chemistry was nuts. Could you imagine never losing with somebody?
That's
like
crazy.
Never. Look at me. Never. Whooped. All my boys, Corinne, everybody whooped. We would never lose. It was crazy. And so, when we went out, everything was good. It was all love. Like, it was just, I just found, my person. I found the one, who understands me, who loves the game like I love it, or she loves it enough to where, she supports me. She was already hustling out here. Are you doing an interview with you? Who you? I like that. Can I be out here? Can I? Yeah. So it's just like, it's a huge adjustment, but I'd have never got where I'm at without making that next step. And it's not, you do it when you're ready, but it's not for the faint-hearted. You're going to be mad. You're going to be angry. You're going to want to quit. You're going to listen to other people that are going to tell you that you're right. And sometimes you're going to be dead wrong. And sometimes they wrong. You still got to, take up the slack because you ain't perfect. And, it's good to have a person in your corner that gives you balance, homeostasis. You want to have a person that, when you tripping or you're responding, like, with a person like me, it's funny you said that. Like, I'm ADHD. So, like, my brain, I'm, like, very, what do you call it? Like, in situations and stuff, I don't think before I act. You know what I'm saying? Very, very consistent. So, like, what I had to learn how to do is bring people around me that weren't like that. So if you meet any of my close friends, they're all laid back, chill, and cool. I'm the only one that's kind of outspoken in the free spirit. My wife is the same exact way. She's very chill and laid back. Now, she can be funny, but, like, she's very good balance. You know what I'm saying? Because, sometimes you can be on 1,000.
Right, absolutely. So speak
There she is right there. No. She said no. Where'd it go?
Hello. Speak on being a father, man. Very inspirational videos when I see you and your wife in the driveway with your daughter just putting in that work early, man. Like you talked about it earlier, about your daughter didn't want to leave you at 3, but just every day now being a father, putting that work in with your daughter, man. What's that like?
Well, man, really the funny thing is none of my kids want to play basketball right now. None of them. Like, none of them listen. It's just very hard. It's difficult, and you don't want to push them into it and make them. But, as far as, like, this training, I used to train in the gym. When I accepted this new position at Fayetteville Christian Academy, the guy told me I would never be able to use that gym since I took that job. And I was like, well, whatever. I'll still figure it out. So, my clients and everybody still wanted to get better. And so, my wife, she's a certified trainer and she do Vertimax. She's a lawyer too, so she's like Superwoman. She was able to help me balance and organize. And so, consistently day to day, we knock out clients and get it done and help kids get better. Everybody else out here struggling, fussing, looting, and everything else. I'm trying to take the kids' mind off of it. So, we're over here working on, building for the future. So all of them want to play in the next level or go to college or do all these other things with it. And so, I'm able to sit there and mentor them and talk to them about my experiences and push them. And, I've done a really good job. I have a very good background with it. I have a very good reputation, and I worked very hard to get where I'm at because it was super hard. Initially, people didn't really take me serious. Nobody was doing basketball training or any of those other things. And I just took a chance. I started my own LLC, and I just kind of like pushed it. And my father and everyone else, there's a lot of people in the community helped me to get where I was at. And it took some time for me to get where I was in a position where I could actually receive the blessings that were already there for me. So, it's within your own time, but it's amazing to be able to spend time and work with my kids and with my wife and to be at home. And this pandemic was awful on one end, but on the other end, you got to enjoy your family, get to learn more about them and get to spend time and grind and do a lot of stuff. So I think it had a double meaning to it, So for me right now, I just had a meeting with my coach. With my school, we're about to open the gym, so things are about to open up. So, hopefully this year, if everything works out correctly, I am going to have a mob squad. You are invited. Have your popcorn ready. We're going to be tough to beat. Absolutely. God has blessed me, and people are going to pay.
Absolutely, man. I like to come see that in person. I can't get off this interview without speaking a little bit about things that's going on in the world, and I'll transition in by saying the coach for UNC Central made a statement about some of these power schools.
Oh, she's not speaking.
Yeah, they definitely need to speak out about these issues that we're dealing with right now in the world, because these young African American kids coming in, they coming into our houses and talking to our parents, and they need to know like what would you do, if if something happened,
Would you protect my kid, basically?
Protect my kid.
See, the funny thing is that, well, it's not funny. It hits me hard because Floyd is my cousin, my third cousin. They're there. It's my family. So it's crazy. I was talking to my other cousin because I didn't know him personally, but I knew his dad really well. They grew up with my mom and stuff. He just ended up living in Texas because his mother moved there and married someone else. But it's a whole nother story I'm gonna go into. But all I'm gonna say is I know that it's very difficult when you lose a family member, but I'm about being proactive. Now I'm gonna mourn him, I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna be there and support, and I love him. But my goal is what's next, So I think that it helped our family because my day and age group hasn't been doing their job as far as family reunions and keeping contact and us knowing who's who and being able to help each other. We didn't know that he was going through that, whatever he was going through. Mm-hmm. So we could have probably been in a position where he don't got to go all the way to Minnesota if we'd had a discussion, or we didn't know what's up, or we'd have been more on our dean about where's cousin this and who's this and where's that. Well, you got family members here, and network and keep it together. You get so isolated, you get so locked into to grinding on your own and raising your immediate family, you forget about all the other people that could make it a lot easier. So it just opened our eyes to be in a position where we're like, you know, we're going to change how we handle stuff. And as a coach, you know, my values never change. I'm a Christian. I'm consistent. I'm always going to do what's best for the kids, because at the end of the day, it's going to come back to you, you know. So you always want to do right by people, and no matter if they're not doing right by you, because you're not going to get the results you want if you're doing something to be petty or whatever else. So I've always had to learn, no matter what people have to say, no matter what happens to you, to just stay consistent in doing what's the right thing. And you're going to always be blessed. And so that's been a hard lesson for me. I've learned a lot of hard ways. You know, to get where I'm at, to be a head coach, I should have been in a lot of other directions. But then again, maybe it was supposed to work this way. So I'm happy. I'm embracing it. And I appreciate to even have opportunities like you, you know, asking me to come interview me. You know, I'm just a regular person from Fayetteville. But, you know, if I can say something that could possibly shed some light or help someone else or motivate them to try to, you know, get where they need to be, I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, this weekend in Fayetteville, man. Any thoughts on, you know, the rioting and, you know, the things going on right in your backyard?
I just pray for everybody, man. You know, I wanted to go out there and pass all waters and stuff, but it's so risky.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want to put your family. I got younger kids in the house. You don't want to put your family at risk being around all these people. And if something happens to you, who's home to protect your family?
Absolutely.
So you got to make decisions. You know, you got to decide what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. I don't judge how people decide to handle the situation, because I'm not in a position to judge. All I know is, as far as me, there's gonna be a betterment amongst my family, and there's gonna be a betterment amongst any people around me. I'm gonna be an asset as far as if they need me. I'm gonna be consistent, and I'm gonna be able to console with me, and I'm gonna always love and always preach, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, unity is there. And I think it can happen. It just has to start, like everyone said, with communication. People have to accept the fact that this is happening. And people don't realize that as a people we're cursed, you know, but that's a whole nother conversation that, you know, people don't want to really get into, but they got to realize that every leader, every person that's came through here, there's a reason why they've went down. And there's a reason why we're in the position we're in now. There's a way to work around and work through this, but they got to accept that portion as well. You know what I'm saying? Don't just think this is happening for no reason. There's a reason why this keeps happening to us. It's a reason we were his favorite people. So, you know, I have a different view on it. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be just positive. You know what I mean? Just don't let the negative stuff get around you. Don't let people try to talk you into doing things that you wouldn't normally do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, man, I'm hoping that, man, so this your first year being like being the head coach
of a varsity team, absolutely.
Man, so my definitely my prayers,
I pray the season comes, you know, like, can you imagine your first time ever getting the opportunity and everything's perfect and then no season?
No season. That's crazy. Exactly. We'll talk soon. That's your slogan. We'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. Absolutely.
Man, and before I let you go, man, talk about those mixtapes, videos that you be putting out there for your kids.
I don't get paid for them a lot of times. It's just to help our kids. You know, I go a lot throughout the season. I'll pick out top games and I'll go record and I'll cut up the film for them so the city, city can see what talent we have so we can support. A lot of times people don't really recognize what's up under us till they're gone. A lot of people didn't come watch Junior when he was really good. A lot of people didn't come watch. And just now we had a state championship team with the girls and nobody knew about any of the players on the team. That's why I went and hustled and was trying to do footage and try to just get the kids seen, on the back end, because it's good for our city the more talent we have. People don't understand that. So, your footage is your portfolio. It's what gets you in the door. So we need to get these kids, many kids with all this talent that are doing what they're supposed to do out of here and where they want to go. So the main way, the fastest way to do it with coaches is you need to have footage. So if I'm in a position to do footage and they can't afford it, so what? Get it done. Help them out. It'll come back to you one day. So when I do mixtapes and stuff at halftime, it was just something I spent hours on that I just felt like the kid deserved it. And I'm not amazing. I'm decent. I taught myself. I studied Adobe. Been doing it for years before people was doing it.
It was dope. I mean, the triple screen. Like it was,
I'm ADHD. I'm impulsive. I need to have multiple action going on. Because I was like, well, how can I market my business and show their highlights? Boom.
Yeah, it's really dope. But one time for Coach Steve, man, I thank you. I thank you so much for jumping on here. Wasn't a whole lot of running around politics. I asked you once, hey, man, why don't you come on Best Conversations, talk about what the things you're doing in the community and, you know, the kids you're mentoring. He was like, hell yeah. And I was like, damn, my G, man. But, man, peace, blessings, much blessings to your family, to your queen, to your children. Stay safe out there in the field, man. And I hope that you get get your coaching thing off the ground.
I hope I see you in the building.
Man, hold me to it. Hold me to it. Just shoot me the schedule, and I'm definitely.
I want you, but I kind of want you to see him beforehand. So when the gym starts really buzzing, I want you just to take a peek.
Okay, say less, man. Well, Coach Steve, man, I appreciate it, man. I hope you have a good night, man. This will be out in the next couple of days, and man, it's all good, bro. I think we lost Coach Steve. But all right, this was Best Conversations Podcast. Thank everybody for listening, watching. Everybody out there, stay safe, stay blessed, stay prayed up. I know it's a crazy time, but only way we're gonna get better is with love and positive vibration. So, you know, I definitely understand people's frustration. I 100% understand people's frustration. But the only way we're going to get better is by love. Nothing but love, man. Best Conversations Podcast. I catch you on the next one. After this episode, we got the Unfiltered Podcast boys coming up. We're going back to AMI Studio to record that. And you can catch me on the Unfiltered Podcast. I was on one of their episodes whenever that drops. What else we got going on? Happy birthday to my daughter Nala. I want to say happy birthday to her. She turned 7 Saturday. And happy birthday to my boy Big V. His birthday was the day after. Peace, blessings. You know, I always end it like this, man. Keep God first and everything will work itself out, man. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay prayed up. Best Conversations Podcast. We out.